All right, Craig. Is he gone? He gone?
Did Craig just stutter?
He did.
Stutter,
He did.
yes.
He's like, now recording.
After last week, we had a talking to.
Oh, actually, did
and,
beer? Is that what happened? Is he drunk?
No,
Probably.
there was no beer. Well, he's not allowed to drink on the job. He knows better, right? Right, Craig?
Why are you saying there was no beer and you're doing the little quotation fingers?
You can see that?
Because it's not beer. It's an alcoholic beverage. There's a difference.
Anyway, we're not the Drunk with Buds podcast. We are the Grumpy Dungeon Masters instead. I'm Jay, joined with my co-hosts Christopher, Christian, and Dan. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello there.
Oh man, just one time. Just stay proper, in character. Do the right thing.
I did all of that.
He did all of it. Christian, where can they find us on social medias?
You can find the Grumpy Dungeon Masters podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcast. You can also find it on YouTube, and then you can find us streaming on Twitch TV Tuesday and Thursday evenings around 9-ish Eastern. We're still making our way through Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode, and stay tuned. Eventually, coming soon to a Twitch stream on a Saturday night near you is one of the most glorious 5e games ever to be on Twitch TV.
The most innovative.
Grumpy Dungeon Masters Christopher. 5e Waterdeep World War Dead.
Yeah, I should probably get on that.
The hype is real.
I might just run all the Keshner one-shots for you guys before I kick that back off again officially. I think that'd be a good idea. Give me some practice running the one-shots before GaryCon, for sure.
Better do that quick. GaryCon's right around the corner, man.
Oh, it's a month away. I got plenty of time.
Say that again.
Cut to me being at GaryCon at the table going, what? A Keshner? What's that?
This is the first time I've read this.
Yeah, to be fair, I asked them what adventure I'd be running, and they go, "Oh, it's this one." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know about that one." I have to read through it. And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll give you the PDF in a week," and I still don't have the PDF, so I need to get that.
Yep,
sure.
You'll get it a week. You'll get it a week before.
The PDF at this point. Thank God.
I know.
Not the PDF of the book, which did come out and got released to all the backers. Yay. That's an amazing piece of material. And everybody has their copy now.
Yep.
Right? You guys got your copy?
Okay. Yeah. We all got our copies. We were all backers.
Huh? What's happening?
But we don't have a PDF to the adventure that you have to run and
No. I think it's more that I just haven't downloaded it. To be fair.
Oh, well, that's on you, you lazy shit.
That's true.
Hey, don't be accurate with my laziness.
All right, so you had a topic you wanted to talk about or something before we hand this podcast over
to other people who have better topics. Yeah.
Well, apparently, Chris a huge topic, and then Dan's talking dragons, which is everything else.
So, you guys are aware of the D&D tuber, which I guess is their official term. XP to level 3, correct?
No.
Okay. Well, yes. He's a D&D tuber of some renown. I'm sure if I showed a picture of him, I'll link his channel in the podcast chat. You probably are aware of him. But he put out a video this week. And I just thought it was kind of interesting, where he and many others in the industry almost got scammed because someone had hired them, written contracts and signed contracts to do advertisements for his Kickstarter, not XP level 3s, but this other guy's the person that hired him, the Kickstarter was called Grit and Glory. Okay. And it was supposed to be like this innovative action point based role playing system where it kind of still a medieval fantasy thing, but it kind of bring into actual like combat, very like Fallout esque. How it was explained by XP to level 3, mostly because it resembled his Fallout system that he had developed for himself. But that's not really the issue. The issue was that this guy had basically hired all these people to do these ads, and people started running the ads on their YouTube channels. But the guy, I guess, decided that he wasn't going to pay them unless the Kickstarter was fully funded, because he expected the money for the advertisements to come out of the Kickstarter money that he received.
Was that in the contract?
No, it was not in the contract.
And
problem. That is something that I'm not involved in the Kickstarter world, but that just seems wrong to begin with. A couple people, I think Dungeon Dads did his commercial for this Grit and Glory. Cell Swords did their ad for this guy. And even with all of that, he only was able to raise about $20,000 Kickstarter, which only had a pledged amount of $70,000. And then he just abruptly canceled everything and left everyone high and dry without getting paid for their advertising spots. So I just found that very interesting.
I mean, they could definitely take this guy to court if they wanted to. You probably won't get paid. He obviously doesn't have the money.
Yeah. I mean, like, what do you do at that point in time? Do you take him to court? But he doesn't have any money. That's obvious. And like,
no, you just
learn
a lesson.
How much money do you spend?
Actual contract involved. I would almost wager that there was no actually signed contract that was reviewed or created by a lawyer for these advertisements that a Kickstarter writer asked some YouTubers to make for him.
Well, I guess the XP for the level 3, he belongs to a big conglomerate of other D&D and streamers that a bunch of big streamers like Moist Critical, and that was the only one I can remember off the top of my head. They actually started this company, and he belongs to that company to kind of handle these advertisings and whatnot. So they almost had like this go-between third party that they worked through doing this. So there actually was a legitimate written contract that was signed by both parties to do that, which is kind of cool, you know. Like they got all this big, you know, company behind them to kind of like keep watch for them. They're the ones that, you know, discovered that this was, and were able to kind of like pull it once a few of them, you know, already had run the ad, unfortunately, but they were able to catch it in time that he didn't get the full ad like rollout. But it kind of just, I kind of feel bad because, you know, there's a creator out there who just wants to make his game get made, but kind of did it a shady way. And I don't know, like most people, I think when they're trying to make their own gaming system and whatnot, just want to share it with everybody. I don't think they're legitimately scammers per se, and they may not have the best business practices ready for them to go. Like obviously this guy tried to do something shady, you know, with I'm going to pay you with the Kickstarter money. But maybe he actually thought that was a legitimate thing to do, you know? Yeah. Doesn't have the budget to do real things.
There's so many people in this world who know nothing at all about business and business practices and so forth. Like he probably legitimately just wanted to get his game made. He wanted to get some support behind it with these guys. And he probably would have paid them if his Kickstarter had funded and he had the money to do it.
Yeah.
All of that should have been revealed in the beginning when contracts were being put together.
I don't think anyone
we-
would have signed the contract then to do it.
No, I agree. They probably would not have, but it should have been revealed either way. That being said, they shouldn't have put out advertising until they got paid.
Well, I
So,
guess that's a normal thing. I watched a couple more videos concerning this thing because there were a couple other people who were kind of wrapped up in this. They usually do the ad and put out the ad and wait till the ad gets, fully released before they receive any money. That's a standard kind of practice. It looked like, where like they wouldn't get paid for a couple weeks.
sure.
As things kind of like rolled out, which I thought was weird. I mean, we're not big enough to take any advertising money yet, but it's definitely good for us to know that that's kind of a thing, But
Yep. Anyway,
I will definitely 100% run an ad for you for free if I can just get a book of the game. I mean, that's me though. There's 3 other people here though. Money. He's got chickens
like
to take care of.
I do have chickens to take care of, but I also like free books.
Yeah. And the other thing that I had to talk about was I was able to watch some of the streams of Eric Frankenhouse over the week, since we met with him last week, and he seemed like a really cool guy. So I joined his YouTube stream where he was reviewing the 8-bit Shadow Dark Game Jam submissions, kind of doing his own submission of things, and it was really interesting to kind of watch his take on a couple of them. So there was one though. Well, let me not jump ahead. They were all fantastic kind of reinterpretations. Like, I guess 3 games get assigned to you, and then you have to write a module with those 3 games as inspiration. And you can actually go to the site where the game jam was. You could actually do one of the. You can do like a pseudo kind of like fake. Here are your 3 games, right? I did it right now, and the 3 games I got was Dragon Warrior 4, Ice Hockey, Anticipation, Nintendo's first board game. Like, those would be the 3 games that I would have to design a game about, which I have no idea. I definitely have to look into it. I just rolled again randomly. I got Wario Woods, Bartman meets Radioactive Man, and Super Mario Brothers 3. That's a much better selection.
Yeah.
But he was going through a couple of them were really good. There was one I really liked that he reviewed. It was called I think it was Gangsters and Gargoyles, which had like Bayou Billy as one of the games that he had to roll in. The game Gargoyle and some other game. It definitely feels people like would latch on to 1 or 2 of the games and kind of ignore the third. It seems really hard to kind of mesh all 3 games together. But there's like 50 submissions or something like that, so it's hard to kind of talk about all of them like that. But just the few that I've seen, there was one that the guy had his being reviewed, and he didn't like the 3 that he got, and I don't think that the guy actually reviewed any of the games ahead of time, because the 3 games that he was assigned was Chrysalis, Russian Attack, and Pinbot. You guys were aware of any of those games?
Yes. I've played multiple of those games. Never played Chrysalis, but I played the other 2.
Russian Attack and Pinbot? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Russian Attack.
Okay.
Remember, I'm old. I played a lot of Nintendo.
We're all young at heart. Chrysalis was one of my favorite games as a child. I played the absolute shit out of that game. And unfortunately, the guy that wrote his module didn't have anything to do with Chrysalis. Brought in some mechanics from Russian Attack, because it's just a guy that runs around, blows up a missile, and
nope.
kills...
I played Chrysalis too. I played all of them.
Chrysalis is really cool because it's a post-apocalyptic game where you wake up from cryogenic sleep and you go into the world that's now like years after the apocalypse, and find 4 swords of each of the elements to kind of unite them into the chrysalis and defeat the big bad. The Japanese name for this game is called Godslayer. All right.
That's
Definitely
metal.
renamed in the States because, no one's going to buy a game or play a game called Godslayer and the
I would've.
Christian craze that was the 80s. Russian attacks, just a dude killing Russians. Pinbot is
Russian Attack is just Contra.
yeah,
It's a shitty version of Contra.
but Pinbot was actually quite interesting. It's an actual like port of the pinball game Pinbot into the NES cartridge, and it did a fairly good port of it. It actually has a weird story to it where you're like this android flying through the solar system from Pluto to the sun, and you're basically stopping at every planet and gathering energy until you finally reach the sun and you have infinite energy. So there's a really cool game there. Like, I was like, my wheels started turning the second I saw this, mostly because of Chrysalis, but then like Russian Attack seemed to kind of work well, where you're stopping the big bad as well. And unfortunately, the guy didn't do any of that. He just went, oh, here are things that I like. I like Mega Man and Link, so I'm going to write the module off of those 3 instead.
That's not the assignment.
Yeah. But I did really like it. Maybe really, I know Christian, you had brought it up like this was going to happen. I kind of wrote it off in my mind, and I'm sad that I did because I want to do this. If they do this again, I'm definitely going to participate next year because I want to get to 3 games.
Year.
I want to. Yeah, well, you never know what happens.
It won't always be.
Year.
Yeah, it's every year. It's always a different theme, so it's not always 8-bit. Last time was the year before this. They did it off of Weird Tales, so you got assigned 3 random covers of the old Weird Tales magazine, and had to write adventures based on this. This year is 8-bit, so they'll do it again next year.
I'll miss my chance then because I wanted to do the 8-bit one.
Oh well,
like if they do the 8-bit one again, I'll participate. But
no, they make it different every year to keep it fresh.
Here, share. So, Chris, you said you're rolling to figure out.
Yeah, let me share the page with you. I'll put the link there for you guys.
Because I want to. I just want to roll to see what I would have gotten. I'm very curious about this.
Yeah, so it's an itch.io site, 8-bit Shadow Dark Game Jam. When you go on there, it's like how
put the link
works.
Directly to the roller.
Oh wow. Okay, so I got 3 games, 2 of which I've never played, 1 of which I've never fucking seen. I got Life Force, Guardian Legend, and Mr. Gimmick. I have never heard of Mr. Gimmick. Oh man, I would have had fun with this.
I just did it again. I got a game called Stinger, the game Renegade, and the game Neketsu Kakuto Densetsu, which is a Techno Japan beat 'em up style game, like a Dungeon and Dragon. It's not River City Ransom, but that's what it looks like.
Okay. Renegade is another Contra knockoff. I've played it before. The first one.
Oh, it's a spin-off of the River City Ransom games.
Oh, well, awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, my 3 were Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, The Simpsons, Bart versus the World, and Jeopardy 25th Anniversary Edition.
That Jeopardy one's just sort of throwing it off there.
Well, I mean, you could definitely could have basically had a quiz show of some kind pop up during the adventure, and that would have satisfied the thing. I'm sad I didn't participate this year. I think this would have been a lot of fun. Oh, although I don't know. I played your Shadow Dark game, Christian. I played in a couple. I don't know if I know the system well enough to write, mostly from a vibes standpoint. I don't know if I fully get it yet, but then again, a lot of people were like, I don't know Shadow Dark at all. I'm going to write something. So,
all right. I think I have the best of the possible things. I might even try to write this. When's it due? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's already,
Doing the
it's already
alerts.
done.
I'm gonna do it anyway. My 3 are Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, WCW Wrestling, and Adventure of Link.
Oh man,
Well,
that's a good
That's a
one.
good one.
yours are pretty. You got the straightforward ones. That's not bad.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, those are the neat thing. You actually can, and this is something if we want to consider this, you can you don't have to do it individually. You can work as a group if you want to. Like groups of people can get together and submit a submitted adventure. So
Yeah, we talked
they
about
do something.
doing this last year as the Grumpy Dungeon Masters, and then we didn't.
Like
Yeah.
all things, we forgot about it because we have
So,
busy lives.
Yeah, let's try to do it next year. Let's see what they do
Sure.
for the jam and let's jump
Somebody
in
put it
and
on.
throw something
Somebody
out
put it
there.
on a calendar. Yeah, put it on a calendar so we remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool if we had a
calendars.
calendar that could keep track of things like guests. And
That's
things like that.
impossible.
That'd be good.
That's
Probably impossible to do that.
That is
But yeah,
impossible.
no, the 8-bit jam is really cool. They are Baron Durop, who hosted it and has hosted the last one. He is doing a video right now. They're still on there talking, going over the top entries. And some of those are the ones, some of my favorite, but I will highlight a few that I really liked. This did not make it as one of the top entries they're talking about, but I thought it was excellent. It's called Contra Mundum.
Okay. I'm here for it.
And so, yeah, I guess his inspirations were Journey to Silius, Double Dare,
yeah.
and Contra.
That was a good game.
And I
Journey
like
to Silius?
so he's made a map, and the map is a side-scrolling map. So you journey through the map in a side scroll. And one of the traps, there's a trap that's literally it's laid out on the floor, and it has the 4 arrows and directions, and then a B and an A. And the key to not setting off the trap is the Konami code.
Oh yes. And everybody who is not at least a millennial is going to fail that.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised because my daughter knows the Konami code. She doesn't know what the Konami code is. Like, they're aware of it for some reason.
Guess it's a thing.
It's yeah, maybe. I don't know how much of a thing, but it's yeah, I thought that one was great. I will put this one in the chat. This was not an adventure so much as it is I guess it's a class, and then it has some ideas for an adventures, but it is the cover of it is fantastic, and it's called Oh Shit Ninjas.
I'm sorry, I started laughing before you even said it. I saw
Was it
the
Ninja
name.
Gaiden inspired?
So and he writes it like it's a manual. The whole thing is written like one of the Nintendo game manuals you would get.
Perfect.
He gets you 2 new Shadow Dark ancestries that you can play. The one being raised by ninjas. You were raised by ninjas, but you still have bitchin' 80s hair. And your ancestry ability is Ninja Knows Ninja. You immediately recognize someone as being a member of the Ninja class, the Thief class, or any other class that has non-magical inherent benefits to stealth or sneakiness.
Oh, that's good.
And the other ancestry is Ninjas Killed Your Family. With the ability of your ancestry ability being walk away from explosions, and it's whenever an explosion happens near you and you are not in the explosion, you heal 1d6 H points.
Oh yeah,
that's baller.
Every time a fireball goes off that doesn't hit you, you heal. That's great. I love the cover though. It's Oh Shit Ninjas. This is some Jackie Chan level kung fu action.
Yep.
Ninjutsu's first Shadow Dark role-playing supplement.
Well, that's they took that screenshot from one of the other actual Nintendo games, the Nintendo's first board game. The one I mentioned earlier, that's where that came from. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
I hope since they wrote it as a manual, sorry, Christian, since they wrote it as a manual, I hope somewhere in the back they have the old Nintendo phone number in there. The one you used to be able to call to get hints and tips from, like the hotline.
Yeah,
Did you ever call that
his
hotline?
inspirations were
Yes.
Ninja Gaiden 3, Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu, and Anticipation, which is where the cover came
That's
from.
it. Yeah, Anticipation.
So
I guarantee you, the first thing that he said was, "Oh shit, ninjas!" when he got that, and was
Yeah, I
just
mean,
so
you just gotta
happy.
use that as the title at that point.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, you get a ninja class that you can play with ninja abilities, where you have Art of Invisibility, where you just look like a normal person as long as you don't accidentally announce that you are a ninja. You have Gaze of the Ninja, where you lock your steely gaze on somebody and you can intimidate them. You have Ninja
Nice.
Vanish ability, where you have to yell out Ninja Vanish. And then you produce a smoke bomb from nowhere, and then you can cast Misty Step. But if you fail the check for it, you still yell Ninja Vanish, but you just don't do anything.
That's fair. Yeah.
That checks. That tracks. Yeah.
There needs to be
but it
more of
gives
that in
you
official
you
5e.
get ninja gear, the katanas. It's like, no, it's not just like a bastard sword. It's a cool sword. It's a katana. Ninjas definitely use katanas. Shut up.
They use ninjato.
Fantastic.
So that was fun. It's highly usable, but very fun. This was another great one. The art in this one was great. It's called Rumble at Ramblot Ridge.
Okay, I see sort of where this came from. Get us a link for that one.
Yeah, let me find that one real quick here. It is fantastic.
Yeah, obviously a play on maybe River City Ransom. I don't know. Just waiting
Here is
for
your link.
Yeah. Rumble at Ramlot Ridge. Okay.
He got I guess Dragon Warrior 3 was one of them. Yeah. Let me see if it's in the document.
Yeah, he's got them. They're on here. Clash at Demon Head, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and Dragon Warrior 3.
Yep. But the background, just go the background of it. This is great. It says a savage band of orcs known as Romlot's Roughnecks have kidnapped an adept tinker Plume and are holding her hostage in their lair. Using her expertise, the Roughnecks have devised the Overcastinator, an apparatus that generates a magical smog to block out the sun. Their goal is to spread darkness to nearby towns and villages, leaving them ripe for pillage. It's just a great Cobra Commander kind of villain plot.
Yep.
That's a great plot for any Shadow Dart game. When you think about it, given the the darkness mechanic that exists, like, hey, yeah, we're gonna just cast darkness over your village, and then steal all your shit. Good luck.
Yeah, but the art in this is great. I love that it all looks very true to form. It all looks like pixel art stuff all through the module. Like they've really themed it all after this kind of stuff. So this one is great. I would run this.
I would play that.
I think you should in between actual serious sessions where we end up maybe randomly rolling in a carousing table or something and find ourselves in some sort of weird 8-bit dream.
Yes. I need this.
Yeah. But it's got a lot of great stuff in it. They got some of their own monsters, so you can fight the Roughnecks. They have what's in a Roughneck sack, so you can roll random things that you find on the Roughnecks, like a sealed glass jar filled with putrid gas labeled Ridge Witch Breath. A fedora that repels snakes and small vermin.
And
That
females.
would be perfect with Indiana Jones.
Yep. Yeah, and then here, let me link this one here. This one is great too. It's called Battle Lugs.
Battle Lugs. All right.
Yeah, I'll link it in here for everyone to come take a look at. You'll see where the inspiration came from.
And yeah, and oh my god, anybody who wants these links can just go to our Discord and podcast chat to find them.
Yep. Yeah, his innovations were Battletoads, obviously,
Yep.
Zelda 2, and Solomon's Key.
Oh man, I love that game.
Yeah. So
I think
this
a lot
is
of the good entries definitely had good roles for their item or their set. Not saying it's
It
an
makes it
excuse for anyone that
easier.
yeah, it makes it easier for sure, but you get Battletoads, you know what you're doing,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
all
you can just kind of
all
keep
slot.
clicking on it until you find the one that you really like or something that you're at least
No,
familiar with enough that you can run it.
I think the 3 get assigned to you, like they assign the 3 to you. That random one that we have in the chat is just an example. So when
Okay.
you signed up for the
that's
competition,
that's how you do it. When you enter the competition, you have to actually sign in with your itch thing and then go to that link, and then it gets assigned to your itch.io account that you're going to use for it.
yeah.
And
But I'm saying you only
those
get
are
one shot at it. You can't just keep re-rolling until
no,
you
you only get
online.
one. Yeah. Yeah, you can keep clicking on it as much as you want for free, but once you actually like sign in and sign up for it, like you get your one roll, and then that is your assignment. You got to go with those 3.
Yeah.
So Battle Wugs is great. It is a gauntlet, so it is a level 0 you're going through, and you get assigned a color of what kind of what color frog you are.
God.
That gives you a random useful ability. Like red has a strong 30-foot tongue that you can use as a grappling rope or to move things around. Green can survive caustic, hot, or otherwise toxic environments. Purple have powerful legs and can jump near. And blue have toxic glands. They can coat any weapon with toxic secretions to poison their enemies.
I hope they didn't add a section where you have to ride on surfboards or anything like that.
They better have. That was the best part about that game.
There doesn't appear to be a random surfboard riding, but this does look like a fun little gauntlet to run.
Yep, I'd play. I'm very kind of curious. I need to really read the whole thing. Like Battletoads, it's very obvious what they did for that. Zelda 2 Adventures of Link and Solomon's Key, I would have to read through to figure out exactly where they utilized stuff from that in the game.
Yeah.
Like Solomon's Key, it wouldn't be that hard. I guess you'd just have to have a lot of different keys to find to unlock all the different locations. Adventures of Link, I don't know. That's
Like if you just, I mean, if you're, as long as you took something from the game, I think that's all that was needed. So like if you had an overworld style section and you had like little tokens that were the black monsters moving around, like the overworld for Link had, or if you had like heart containers or finding the warp whistle or something along those lines, maybe something more, finding the boomerang or the jump spell, like as long as you had something, like you could take one game as like the fighting adventure structure, and as long as you implemented other things into it, you were golden. So it definitely seemed like it would really work. This is a really good challenge, and like I said, I really think they should do it again. Do it again, damn it.
Maybe next year do movies or something.
Yeah, who knows what they'll do next
movies
year.
Might work.
Weird Tales was a good one. That produced a lot of neat stuff, and but who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, because you would have been just going off of our art point, and that really opens things up.
Yeah, and I think that was what that was. Is you got the cover of 3 Weird Tales magazines, and then based on the cover, and then I guess you could use like if it told you the titles of some of the things that were in it, that was what you would base your adventure on, trying to make a very sword and sorcery style adventure.
Yeah. So this next one, I immediately knew one of the games just from looking at the cover art.
Yeah, this is Cairn Climber, and this his inspirations were Xanadu.
Yep, that's
Ice
the cover
Climber.
art.
Yeah, and then Rad Racer.
Oh, I loved Rad Racer. It's a
It
great
was
game.
good.
Yeah, and so this one is the Spire of Higher Cairn offers refuge from the harsh reality of winter. Monks offer sanctuary to all of good intention within their mountaintop monastery. The climb is not a trial for the faint of heart, but the magical monastery wars away the cold weather, bringing pilgrims and travelers each year. But not all is right, however. An evil sorceress has corrupted the neighboring dwarven kingdom and has sent her forces to the High Cairn to claim it as her own. In her palace, she has acquired a dragon egg and intends to hatch it in the warm conditions of the elven monastery. Now the climb to the haven of High Cairn is rife with peril. The lone spire is dotted with ledges, ropes, pitons to aid the climb, but now the party is not alone. Monsters and undead are attempting the climb as well. So you are racing the evil forces of the sorceresses to the top of the cairn.
Fucking awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and it is a hex climb. He's got a neat little hex map here where you are kind of choose your route to climb up the tower, and then you are meeting things along the way and also racing because there's to kind of tell like what the enemies are doing, what their timetables are. So that looks really cool.
Yep, friends and foes. You had the Condor, an elven monk, an elven zombie, and look, a Duergar. I call it a corrupt
Love
dwarf.
those guys.
Yeah, love
I
him.
love those guys. My favorite.
Yeah. And then I am going to put one more here, I think.
All right, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I've enjoyed all of these.
Yeah, this is one they go by Cree in the Shadow Dark Discord. There's somebody actually Eric Prankhouse brought up as one of the people he really talked with about the design of their upcoming Shadow Dark supplement. And this is one they have, and they write great Shadow Dark adventures, and they definitely have their own kind of trade dress and look that they have done. But this is a gothic dungeon crawl adventure based off of Kid Dracula, play action football, and snake rattle and roll.
Oh my god.
I love that game. That game was just the best. Oh my god.
I've never heard of Kid Dracula before. That's
sorry.
Yeah, but
I beat that
this one
game
looks fun. It's like
legitimately.
1 year ago in the tavern, a giant snake-like worm rattled its way up through the floor and devoured the patrons, leaving a hole. From it, a tiny voice rang out, "I'm thirsty." Townsfolk lowered a large basin on the rope to rescue the missing child. Hope. That was until the child spoke again. "Please invite me in." The men stopped pulling in the rope, hair on end, temperatures dropping, blood pressure rising. They asked the child to repeat herself, so she did. They released the rope. For months, the voice called out with the same two phrases, sometimes angry, sometimes bargaining, sometimes pleading. The townsfolk built over the hole, fearful of the vampire child. Anyone who fell was presumed dead. Then the forest yawned. In the Lich Woods, the forest is alive. It opens its maws to form canyons. It yawns and grounds quake. It sneezes and winds blow poison through its leaves. When the forest yawned, the tavern collapsed into the hole. History repeated. Townsfolk fell. But the voice is silent. Townsfolk demand answers. They want to burn the cursed tavern down. The tavern keeper has put out a call for adventurers to brave the hole and get answers.
Brave the hole, boys.
That's what she said.
but
I
Yeah,
don't
this
know.
one
I
good.
definitely would have gone more with the snake rattle and roll just because that was my jam as a kid.
Yeah, this has a
fucking
lot of
foot at
Kid
the top of the
Dracula,
mountain.
but there is definitely some snake later.
Yeah,
Because
but
there is the giant snake rattle. But if you download, actually look at it, the artwork in this is amazing.
it was
The
fantastic.
design
Yeah.
of it is fantastic. The way that it goes through the rooms, how they're easy to, like, this is a easy to run adventure. This is done well. I love that it gives you kind of stats in the sidebar, so when a room brings up a monster, you have the stats right there. You don't have to go looking anywhere else. It's just
The map is also isometric, which is exactly how the map for Snake Rattle and Roll was.
yeah.
The old video game. So,
I mean, but if there's not a foot monster in here, he never played Snake Rattle and Roll. Like, it needs to be a room where you're piloting a giant foot smashing snakes or something to that extent. And I think that's why I could not be a good judge, because I would definitely fixate on games that I've played.
yep,
you have not just like the games.
You would have to get the games that you have never played.
Yeah. Which is going to be hard, because I played a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the 8-Bit Game Jam. I would encourage anyone to go out there and look at the adventures that are on there. There's a lot of neat stuff. It's an interesting. The jams are interesting because you have a limited amount of time. You usually have like 2 or 3 weeks to build the adventure. You have your inspirations you have to go on, and you also have a very limited page count. So there's a lot of kind of constraints there on what you can make and how long you have to do it. So, but I think that's kind of what breeds some of the creativity too, right? You have a limited amount of space. How do you make the best use of your space to make the best adventure you can?
And the people who write these adventures, they still own them, right?
Yeah, because they release it on their own itch page, so it's their adventure. It's just being judged through the jam, and then but after that they own it. They can do whatever they want with it. They can charge for it. They can make it. A lot of them are pay what you want.
Unlike the WotC adventure, which is like, oh, we own your stuff after you submit it to us.
Yeah, well, because this is a jam. The whole point is just to get people to make adventures. It's not like this. This isn't officially through the Arcane Library. This is just someone hosting a jam for people to bring attention to cool adventures and give people a chance to make cool adventures and then get some useful feedback on it. You not only do you make it, but the other people that enter are the ones that go back and rate these. So the only people that can rate the adventures are the people that enter the contest. And so you're being voted on by your fellow contest members as you go through there. But then, with people like Aaron Brenkhouse, Baron Tarop, and crew at the end go through and talk about the adventures there, and it's a chance that if you're somebody that wants to write and design adventures, this is a good chance to get really valuable feedback and to kind of sharpen your skills.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's carry on.
Let's carry on to bad adventures.
Yeah, we've had a few of those before. No, I think Dan wanted to talk about some dragons or something or other.
I guess so. It's been a while.
It has been quite a while.
Do I need to do an action recap?
Yeah, may have to do an action recap of the Dargans.
I do need to do an action recap. Oh man, this could take an entire thing.
Okay, well that's the rest of the recap is the rest of this podcast. Stay tuned for next week's podcast where Dan talks about
dragons. So here's the brief version. We begin in ODD with only 6 varieties of dragons: white, black, green, blue, red, and gold. We got chromatic dragons, which are chaotic, and we have golden dragons, which we got anywhere, which are lawful. And then we move on, and the first Greyhawk supplement introduces the Dragon Queen and the Dragon King, the chromatic dragon and Platinum Dragon, respectfully. Of course, Tiamat and Bahamut, as they're later known. That also introduces the brass, copper, bronze, silver, and platinum dragons. By first edition AD&D, we end up with the full plethora of what everyone's familiar with: the black, blue, brass, bronze, copper, gold, green, red, silver, white, and of course the chromatic and platinum dragons. Various dragon magazines throughout the years, for all the way from the 70s, would periodically do some sort of article that would discuss dragons, obviously, because it's Dungeons and Dragons. Why wouldn't you? And eventually, they would have a yearly dedication to dragons in their magazines for about 15 years or so, honestly. That would revisit dragons, increase their stats, give you alternate spells for them. Like in Dragon Magazine 15, like one of the earliest ones, 1978, you end up with true name magic. You introduce dragons being able to polymorph self, so you can turn into humanoids. Introduce some spells that end up being, actually part of AD&D later, like Limited Wish and Turn Magic, or spell turning, Work Weather, or Control Weather, and so on. By 1980, you end up with, under the non-human deities section, you end up with Bahamut and Tiamat, although they're treated as lesser gods and rarely have human worshippers. But that also included people or creatures that you've heard of before, obviously, like Lolth, Demogorgon, Asmodeus, and so on. That takes us through the first episode of Dragons. Big breath.
Yep.
Next, we end up with we start learning about crystal dragons in Dragon Magazine 37, which first introduced Sardior, the ruby dragon, the prince of neutral dragons, which also introduces crystal, topaz, emerald, sapphire, and amethyst dragons. Not going to go over everything that they do, but there's a lot of different stuff. The very next magazine, Dragon Magazine 38, introduces the brown, orange, and yellow dragons, which are more neutral dragons, and they're just kind of, I don't know if a single person used any of these dragons in any of their games, to be honest. But they revised stats for the elevation of Bahamut and Tiamat to the rank of deity from demigods, with corresponding power increase. Bahamut gains the title Angel of the Seven Heavens, and Tiamat gains the title of Archdevil. We end up with Dragon Magazine 50, Self-Defense for Dragons. Everyone's favorite foe gets a fighting chance. Dragons should be more formidable in melee, because if you recall, early stats for dragons, they had 70, 80 hit points. They were basically glass cannons, even in early editions. Nobody had lots of hit points, but 70 or 80 hit points, still not terribly big.
Mm-hmm.
So Dirty Tricks for Dragons introduced dragons wearing magic items, introduced the Wing Buffet attack, which is used from first edition D&D all the way through 5th edition, but got rid of it during 5e 2024 because fucking why not? What do we call it now? Wait, Rend or something like that?
Just Rend.
Yeah, I can bite and rend. That's all I can do, boys. Greatly increase their magic resistance based on their hit die. And by the time you're Great Worm, you got 90% magic resistance, which means that you're not just going to, power word kill a fucking dragon as a wizard. Introduces blind sense and perception for dragons. Just basically, it ends up being later on in later editions. This one actually had true dragons and something called the Pearl, or dragon's life essence or soul housed in a large pearl. The dragon is killed. It reappears at age 1 beside his pearl 2 weeks after his death with memories intact. On the other hand, if the pearl is crushed, the dragon dies, and anyone holding the pearl can force it into a servitude. So essentially, people could seek out the pearl to basically enslave a dragon, which would be kind of a neat story.
Isn't that the plot of the D&D movie?
Could be.
Yes, I think it is actually.
Yeah.
Like the original D&D movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
original
90s
D&D
one
movie.
or early 2000s. Yeah.
The one that had Gygax in it.
Oh god. Purged it from my memory, so I don't know. Anyway,
How did you purge a Wayne's brother from your memory?
actually, I saw him in a TV show like last night. He's actually in what is it, Shrinking on Apple TV. He's just fine. He's doing fine. Anyway, legends say that Ahi and Rahab are twins, that the Steel Dragon and Grey Dragon emerged from the same egg but somehow grew up total opposites. They apparently are indeed from the same hatch, and they are both known to be very powerful. Some say if they were to fight each other, neither would live, but the truth of their origin is lost in antiquity. This may just be as well, as these dragons are not known for their hospitality and are said to not look kindly upon trespassers. Ahi, the Steel Dragon, is a loner, lawful good. His stats comparatively are about on the same scale as Tiamat, Bahamut, and Sardior. So I think this was an intent of trying to make these two guys be kind of a wild cards, I guess. I don't know. They're kind of weird. In like, they describe Bahamut's castle being beyond the celestial west or east wind or something like that, and for whatever reason, this guy's castle is circling on the west wind. Whatever the hell that means.
Okay.
I've never really actually seen that explained ever. Anyway, there's one which also around this time they start going with Latin naming conventions. So we go with Draco Nox Diabolus, aka the Night Devil Dragon, a chaotic evil gray dragon. Rahab is hated by dragons. This is the guy that is basically always in a continual darkness that can't be dispelled. And just I don't know, savagely rips everybody apart because nobody can see him. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this one. Anyway, moving on.
What is this from anyway?
Dragon Magazine,
Dragon Next.
62, 1982.
Okay, so this is still AD&D early.
Oh yeah. Early first ed.
Lots of cocaine.
Lots of cocaine, yep.
And then in Dragon Magazine 65, we revisit the missing dragons, filling in the tints of the color wheel, which we revisit and do Yellow Dragon again, which we had already done, if I recall. Orange Dragon, which we had not done yet, and a Purple Dragon, which God bless Wizards of the Coast for bringing them back for the Purple Dragon, riding Knights of Cormyr, eh?
What's wrong with Purple Dragon?
Rage. So much rage.
Yeah, by the way, Purple Dragon's evil, so, I guess they're all evil in Cormyr now.
I guess.
Apparently.
Sure. Anyway, Dragon Magazine 24, we end up with some land dragons, wingless wonders of faraway land. I'm guessing that just might be more Asian dragons. I don't know. The Arak, which is a relative of the true dragons. The scintillating dragon, which I guess if you're going to go with Prismacolor dragon, here you go. The night dragon, Drogus retinosus. And then Ed Greenwood starts chiming in, and he contributes his first dragon as the Electrum dragon, which is it's interesting. I guess I never really was a fan of Electrum as a coinage. It just seemed to be getting in the way of a base 10 coin system. But hey,
why do you hate 50-cent pieces?
Why would I use 50-cent pieces, Jay? Why would I use them? Anyway, by the time Monster Manual 2 comes out, which is primarily written by Gygax, we have the Dracolisk, the Cloud Dragon, which he also picked up on the Latin naming convention. We have Draco Cumulus Welkin, also known as the Storm Dragon. The Fairy Dragon, which I appreciate fairy dragons, those are fun. Mist Dragon, and the Shadow Dragon, which can or cannot be slain while DMing a solo adventure in the Underdark for yourself at the Huddle House. Christian will get that joke.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah. Shadow Dragon
extra power.
Was pretty vicious, though. I mean, that had like a level drain breath weapon. It was nasty. Dragon Magazine 86 we're up now. Dragons and their deities. It basically goes over dragon clerics, which dragons can actually be clerics. They can call for divine intervention, and that gives the holy symbol of Tiamat and Bahamut, which are at this point the only dragons. Moving on, the Creature Catalog 2, which is actually, I think, basic Dungeons and Dragons, or BX rather. And Ed Greenwood again contributed there, and he contributed the Phase Dragon. Then we end up with Great Worms, which are not Great Worms as in the Final Age category of dragons in later editions, but it is a distant relative of dragons and dragonkind, dying breed, more rare, and wing-legged intelligent reptiles with great worms lair far from civilized areas. They're always neutral evil and have regeneration and some sort of gas cloud. I'm not really sure why this one ended up. I think this one got phased out.
I think I'm pretty sure most of these got phased out at some point.
They either got phased out or they got combined with something else. Then we have the Ecology of Tiamat the Dragon, Why She Ain't So Tough, which is a pretty funny write-up of some guy bragging how many Tiamats he's killed, which ends up with him getting disintegrated at Bahamut for being rude.
Yeah, I remember. You did tell us. Yeah, you did tell us about that one previously.
The April Fool's issue from April 1985, the What's New Dragon, the Dracofolius Ridiculous, aka the Mauve Dragon, or the Big Pain in the Expletive Deleted, is a rare creature of the AD&D game world. Yeah. Anyway, April Fools. Quasar Dragon, Draco God-Awfulus Armageddonus, frequency once ever, AC minus 4,000. I'm not even sure how this got to print. And then we end up going through a bunch of really actually great dragon lore and why dragons have treasure lust, and a bunch of quotes from various translations of Beowulf. Then we have Bilbo encountering Smaug in The Hobbit, and a couple of other novels as well. But the continues on, and there's some ways to make items out of dragon teeth, which is kind of cool. We also talked about the where this came from. This idea came from was in classical Greek mythology, two separate incidents in which dragon's teeth were used for a purpose. Jason, as part of his quest for the Golden Fleece, had to prove himself worthy of the sacred fleece to King Aeetes of Colchis. His test was to harness the fiery bulls of the king, plow and sow a field with teeth of a dragon, then fight a crop of men that grew afterward. Dragon's teeth sprouted armed warriors ready to fight at the slightest provocation, and Jason quickly tossed a stone in the back of one of the dragon men who thought his fellow sibling had struck him and returned the blow. Soon all the warriors were fighting each other. At length they were destroyed. So yeah, plant a dragon tooth, sow a field of assholes.
Nice.
That's how it works. All right.
Yep. Then we have Cadmus, the founder of the city-state of Thebes, slew a foul serpent that had killed all his men with his poisonous breath, obeying a divine inspiration. He gathered dragon's teeth and planted them. Up sprang a host of fully armored warriors who immediately began to fight among themselves until only 5 survivors made peace. They agreed to follow Cadmus and help him build and populate the city. So, yeah, Greek mythology. Nice. We then go through a bunch more history and legends on Bahamut, Tiamat, and then start walking our way through first edition Dragonlance, which I'm not going to go through too much of it. And then, of course, the argument of how Bahamut and Tiamat are totally not the evil queen of dragons, and totally the paladine or whatever from Dragonlance, but they are. They are. I mean, I'm just saying, they listen. They stole that shit straight from Jeff Grubb, and it's written out in the Reflections of the River of Time at the beginning of the 25th anniversary write-up of Dragonlance Chronicles. So I'm just saying, they can still argue about it, but WotC agrees.
And now that D&D is a multiverse, it all makes sense.
D&D's been a multiverse for a very long time.
Yeah,
what
but
do
it
you
didn't
mean
have
now?
a multiverse saga. Now it does.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it
it
did.
has.
It has.
Because in
You just didn't know about
1989,
it.
there was Spelljammer, buddy.
That's just more of the same. That's just Fae Run with a different coat.
That is so untrue, and I beg you to go tell Jeff Grubb that when we're at Gary Con. He'll fucking punch you in the
I
throat.
will. I'll be like, it's Spelljammer just the Sword Coast in space.
Oh my god, you're the worst. All right. Anyways, so actually, on to new stuff. So there were some other Dragon magazines which go over some other bullshit like Were Dragons, Cobra Dragons, Obsidian Dragons, and whatever. Doesn't matter. 1989, Spelljammer comes out right at the cusp of AD&D Second Edition. And we end up with solar dragons, which are radiant dragons, massive neutral creatures that live inside stars, feeding on energy and hunting space-dwelling creatures. Lunar dragons, aka phase dragons, which actually appeared earlier in Dragon magazines. Xenophobic, intelligent, territorial dragons lived on desolate moons, phase out of reality. Stellar dragons, extremely large, powerful beings that inhabit the phlogiston, the flow between the crystal spheres, which Kryn space, realm space, etc. Ectoplasmic dragons, kind of cool. Smooth-skinned psionic creatures that can travel between the material and astral plane. Packed dragons, which are actually the OG dragons that Githyanki. BT dubs, crimson-scaled, wide-eyed dragons associated with the Githyanki. Space drakes, smaller, wingless serpentine creatures with pearl-like scales, and co-dragons, small cat-like creatures that use tools. Basically, the fairy dragons of space.
Yeah, you don't have that shit in Forgotten Realms. What now?
That's right. That's right. Then again, we get weird with it. Second edition actually gets. Second edition gets fucking weird with it. I'm not gonna lie. I did not realize actually how strange second edition was and how contradictory the entire thing is. Like you know how like I guess Star Wars has like somebody who fills out Wikipedia and has like the canon of Star Wars or whatever, or at least they did at some point before I guess Disney just kind of flushed it and did whatever the fuck they wanted. Forgotten Realms, I guess TSR in general just not have that at all, and it becomes very clear as I'm going through all this shit. I know that some of this is not technically official, and in fact, like in an early Dragon magazine, actually says as much. He's like, "Hey, this isn't official, but this stuff here because I'm writing it BT dubs," and of course, it's stuff that's just being released before Manual 2 comes out or Unearthed Arcana or whatever. But yeah, so in Dragon Magazine 158, June 1990, there is quote unquote there's an article on the quote unquote mightiest of dragons. Let me make sure I get this right here because it's fucking wild. Okay, here we go. The article is The Mightiest of the Dragons. From the very start of a player's D&D game experience, his ultimate foe is the dragon. Dragons have the greatest number of hit points, the most powerful combat abilities, and most importantly, the biggest treasure hoard. There comes a time, as a character's reached 20th level or so, when whomping a 160 hit point huge isn't what it used to be. The heroes have to go on to their next best thing, the dragon rulers, using whatever available to them. So, at this point in time in D&D, this is 15 years into D&D, like, people know that Bahamut and Tiamat are a thing. Those are the and Sardior. Those are the big dogs that you need to go after if you're, just itching to fight something, right? So apparently all this stuff was kind of presented in the later editions of Beckme, the Master's DM book, and the DM's Guide to Immortals. A place called the Draconian Cluster, the home planes of the dragons that are part of the outer planes. They're four-dimensional standard planes, all have guardian at the edges who has to keep out on non-dragons. However, each is very different from the others. Pearl, the moon dragon's plane, is a nightmarish place, twisted black and evil with no specific form. Gray towers rise up from the tops of craggy, ebony mountains or lie in cold, dark seas. No individualism, and dragon's spirit desire to sacrifice itself for its leader is greater than ever here. Of all the rulers, Pearl could be determined to be the most evil, even though it yields to the Great One. So, have you guys heard any of this shit before? Like, it's completely new.
All new to me.
I didn't play Beckme, so I Christian, you started with like Rule Cyclopedia. Does this ring any bells at all?
No, did we lose Christian?
Oh no.
I played.
My wife came in
Oh,
with
there
talking to me for a second. Say that again.
So this is all like apparently from Beckme, which is why it's
Mhm.
so unfamiliar to me. Are you familiar with this at all from playing like Rule Cyclopedia or anything like that? The Draconian Cluster, Pearl, Opal, Diamond, the Great One?
You know, no, because even like, Rule Cyclopedia is what I started with, but I was very young, so I was not as into the lore. I was still very much learning to play the game. Draconic Cluster does sound vaguely familiar, like I may have heard it talked about, but I don't know anything about it.
I don't know
Yeah,
the Draconic Cluster, but I know the other things the other types of dragons that you've mentioned.
It was
Yes.
probably in the Immortals box set, and I never had that one.
They say that it first showed up in the Master DM's book, so I know you have that one.
I do have that, but I haven't.
I think the
read the
Draconian
entirety of
Cluster
it.
is further detailed in the DM's Guide to Immortals. But this, I guess, expands on all the information in there. So anyway, Opal is the Sun Dragon, lawful good dragon. I'm just zoom through part of this here. Diamond is the Star Dragon of pure order and law. And then, of course, the last one is the Great Dragon. None dare oppose the Great One in his seemingly infinite home, a boundless waste that can form itself into any arrangement according to the whims of its ruler. The Great Dragon's servants are the most noble of all dragons, the mightiest and the most feared. It is an unparalleled honor to be called to serve the being. None may enter its plane without the Great One's bidding, and none may find the Great One unless it wishes to be found. Makes it real difficult to find him. It says, those that are met by the most powerful of their kind, however, attack those. Dradens, in the DM's Guide to Immortals, pages 38 to 39, may also be encountered here. I don't know what a Dradens is. Interesting. But, yeah, so this basically goes over a completely alternate yet parallel history of dragons in Dragonkind and in D&D.
Hey, Chris,
What?
your cat's snoring into the microphone again.
We're just having all the interruptions, aren't we?
All of them.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so the same year that this came out, I don't know when Draconomicon came out in 1990, but Draconomicon came out in 1990, which I think is what everyone is probably familiar with that's on this podcast.
Mhm.
Well, Chris, you're familiar with the later versions of Draconomicon, right? Like
There was only the 4E1.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
pretty much, from what it sounds like, recapped all this that you're talking about.
It recapped or retconned a whole shitload of it for sure. So in Draconomicon, there's actually a really cool like family tree at the very beginning of it, and a lot of the initial writing of it is written kind of, you know how Ed Greenwood likes to write first person as Elminster for a lot of shit. So this stuff is all written first person from like scholars from Candlekeep, and it's all about the genus species of dragons and the Draco forms, and it starts with the Eodraco, which then branches off to the Eodraco orientalis, the oriental dragons, the wyvern, the Ignartio, the Ignidraco, which goes to chromatic or metallic, and then also branches off to cloud dragon and celestial dragons, question mark, because this is again written as if it was in play by scholars at Candlekeep. Then we have another branch that goes to multi-headed dragons, such as the Dracohydra, and then another one that goes off to pseudo-dragons, fairy dragons, the drakes. But this is the first time that we get dragon god I just mentioned from Beckme, other than Bahamut or Tiamat. So this is when we introduce Asgarath, the World Shaper, aka Io, aka the deity of creation, aka the creator of dragons, and start developing myths about dragonkind, about where they came from, who created them, and so on. So we have Asgarath, the World Shaper, unknown alignment, unknown whereabouts, unknown lair location. Then we have Astalabor, the Acquisitor, the Horde mystery of acquisitiveness. I've never actually heard this word before. It's like inquisitiveness next to acquire. A greater power of Limbo, chaotic neutral. Garrix, the Fire Lord, an All-Destroyer, cleanser of worlds, deity of fire using dragons, and greater power of the Abyss, who's chaotic neutral or chaotic evil, depending on what day, I guess. Halal, the Jester, the Pursued, deity of draconic humor. Lesser power of Olympus, chaotic good. Hareska, the Wonderbringer, light of magic, deity of magic, greater power of Limbo, chaotic neutral. Lindis, the Scale of Justice, balancer, deity of balance and justice, greater power of Nirvana. Null, Deathworm, Reaver, guardian of the lost, deity of death and the dead, greater power of Gehenna. Tamara, her beneficence, her mercy, deity of life and light, greater power of Elysium. Hask, the taker and holder, rester, deity of greed, greater power of Pandemonium. Zymor, deity of enlightened justice, greater power of the seven heavens. And Zorquan, high one, greatest worm, deity of dragonkind, greater power of the prime material plane. You know who you don't see here and there?
Who?
Bahamut or Tiamat.
Yeah.
That's the list.
So this is actually kind of interesting to me. I'm curious kind of why they created these. This is second edition, right?
Yeah, this is very beginning of second edition. It's 1990.
Okay. Yeah. So all of the other deities or all of the other races sort of had their gods by that point. Like the elves had their pantheon, the dwarves had their pantheon,
Sure,
everybody had their own pantheon. So it makes perfect sense that the dragons should have their own pantheon. Nobody really plays dragons though.
Not until 1994, yeah.
Yeah, not till that the box set came out or the book, whichever it was. I don't recall the name,
Council
even
of
though it's on
Worms.
my shelf. Council of Worms,
Council
yeah.
of
So yeah, so this came out before that even took place. So my assumption has to be that they just created these so that you can go try to fight them when you hit high level. Because second edition players loved to get to high level. They love to go fight big,
here's
crazy
the thing,
shit.
though, Jay.
So.
There's no stats for them.
Oh well,
these are just names and portfolios and stuff.
You can still make those
there
up.
Was a
and
weird.
People did.
There was a weird time in second edition where they thought that they needed to come out with a pantheon for everything.
Everything.
Like literally everything. Kobolds, you need a pantheon. You know, orcs had grumps, but you got to fill out a whole pantheon. Goblins, you got to fill out a whole pantheon. Like, what other monsters? Oh, Illithids. They have gods now. And then, like, they just went through and started like picking monsters and filling out pantheons. And you're just like, why?
Cocaine.
Why can't some of these cultures be monotheistic? Come on.
It was a weird time.
Or even just worship grumps.
Well, even more to that, there was in some places, I don't know if it's earlier or before, where they've just kind of linked dragons they were born of the worlds. They are creatures of the prime material, and they are like born with the worlds. So they don't need deities because they're not regular mortals.
If you ask any dragon, if you ask a dragon, they're going to say they are a god. I mean,
yeah. So this book goes in real deep on like the full-on ecology of dragons, a lot of which we've already talked about. Goes likes, wants, desires, history, myth, reproduction, the fact that some different chromatic dragons can breed with different chromatic dragons and metallic dragons with metallic dragons and so on. And then it has another section, page 56, called the Dragon Hall of Fame. And this is where you have stats. A great old worm called Aris, his resplendence, Lareth, King of Justice, Gold Great Worm.
Bahamut, awful good great worm. Is he the archetype of all good dragons? Who knows? Is he a fluke of nature and powerful mortal creature that is worshipped by other mortals? We don't know the answer. And like that's literally like all they say about him. I'm like, and his stats are just a joke. Like 150 hit points or some shit. I'm like, what? This is second edition because I, like literally within a year or two, there are revised stats that come out in Polyhedron for both Tiamat and Bahamut, and they have like 800 hit points or something ridiculous, which is outrageous for second edition.
Yeah.
I mean, it is insurmountable in second edition. Because you're not going up to level 40 with the Immortals box set for Beckme at this point. You're capping out pretty low. It has Tiamat as just a chromatic lawful great worm. And then a couple of other ones I've never heard of: Nexus, Flashburn, Lux, Tamarond, Pelath, and Havilarn. A silver, bronze, gold, and then there's 2 red dragons here. One's Chaotic Evil, Venerable Red Dragon, and one called Lux, which actually has a pretty nice story that's attached to him. He is kind of unique. He's a mature adult dragon, a red dragon, chaotic neutral with good tendencies, which I thought was kind of neat. And he had a cool story that went along with it as to why he became that way. Anyway, the book introduces a couple more species. We have Mercury dragons, which is just yet another metallic dragon. It's real fast and stuff. Draco Hydra, it's a Hydra with dragon heads. It's basically mini Tiamat when you don't want to kill your whole party. Steel dragon, which is apparently just a copy paste from the Greyhawk dragon from Oerth, who's just like the friendly like dragon that kind of runs corporations back in the big cities. Which, by the way, there's speaking of corporations and dragons, it reminded me of Shadowrun because there's literally a dragon in this book called Dunkelzahn.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, all right, who's been playing Shadowrun, boys?
Mhm.
And then you have Yellow Dragon, which is also known as the Desert Dragon. What?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna. Somebody's got that copyrighted somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised to see it too. I was like, okay, didn't think that was a crossover, but I guess that could be. They throw in a bunch of other new wizard spells that are mostly just silly that will never come up unless you're playing Council of Worms. Like there's literally a spell called Hand because you don't have opposable thumbs as a dragon. So you just summon a fucking hand that can write and stuff.
Fantastic.
It does do a great job describing the actual physical Draconomicon as the artifact, which translates from the Forgotten Tongue of Concerning Dragons. It's a large tome, almost 2 feet wide, 3 feet tall, 8 inches thick, has 2 covers, each composed of thin hardwood bound in cured white dragon hide. In the front bears a symbol of 2 reptilian eyes set above a downward pointing flame. The symbol is made of platinum indissolubly attached to the dragon hide. The book has more than a score of pages, and each with a thin sheet of metal alloy of unknown formulation. The covers and pages are attached by 2 rings of bronze, and the language of the book is an archaic version of Thoras, but the script itself, which has been engraven into the metal pages, with great precision, is in simplified runic form. The combination of tongue and script is identical to that found in the Book of the World. And if any human or demi-human is in possession of the book for more than 2d4 days, they begin to have the personality or outlook of a dragon of their alignment. So if you're lawful good, you're probably going to start acting like a lawful good dragon might. So I guess gold dragon. Another d8 days in possession, and you will gain the innate abilities of the species that are typically granted to wormlings of that type. Such as a chaotic good character might be emulating a brass dragon, might find herself deep in conversation with a squirrel using the Speak with the Animals spell before they realize that they're literally talking to a squirrel and have no idea how they're doing so. Once changed, the person will not ever willingly give up the book. So basically you're cursed to carry this thing around. But you then gain access to all the spells that are in it, which are basically draconic versions of a ton of different wizard spells. And I guess the alternate versions of them, and of course the other draconic base standard spells, including Hand, Find Humanoid Familiar, Contact Archetype, Death Door, Cold Curtain, and draconic versions of Raised Dead and Resurrection, which actually works. Rumor has it that it is also the book that contains the full procedure to turn a dragon into a Dracolich, which we went over back in September last year. With the Cult of the Dragon, with the full like 3-page ritual that Ed Greenwood wrote out to do it.
Yep.
Based on the entire whole quest line. But yeah, that's the Draconomicon, which, like I said, is a deep, deep dive. But again, that's just Forgotten Realms.
So see, if I was a game master and somebody was playing, doesn't matter what, and they were able to cast the spell Hand, I would have it just sort of show up like like Thing from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Just a fucking random hand just walks into the room.
Hell yeah. Anyway, around this time, TSR is pumping out books faster than they can have anybody edit or read them over. So like you're on to like Monster Compendium 4 and 4 for Dragonlance, where you got different types of Draconians, and you've got tons of different types of like proto-Draconians, and then of course you have the Dragons of Kryn, which the only actual new dragon in Kryn is the Amphi-Dragon, which is just not really a new dragon, it's just the aquatic dragon. It looks almost like a dragon turtle, to be honest. But like by 1994, you're already out with Monster Compendium fucking 14.
Yeah,
and that's when you reintroduce gem dragons. So you got amethyst dragons, crystal dragons, emerald dragons, sapphire, topaz, and it just laid out like your standard monster manual for edition that everyone's very familiar with. I went through and took a look at some of the other settings of second edition, because I think the later portion of second edition, because it is actually such a long period in D&D that I don't think I can actually cover tonight. But I do want to touch on Al-Qadim Dark Sun. So who's familiar with Dark Sun?
Yes.
And the weirdness that happens in Dark Sun.
I'm very familiar with the dragon.
So
there is a dragon.
So there's a dragon.
Yes, sort of.
But there's also a supplement for Dark Sun called Dragon Kings. Have you guys read that one?
Mm-hmm. I am familiar with it.
Okay. Because the way dragons come about in Dark Sun is apparently an extremely powerful 20th level human or half-elven defiler or psionicist can progress to even greater power if they choose to transform themselves into dragon form. To begin the transformation, the would-be dragon cast a dragon metamorphosis spell. This potent incantation is the first use of a dragon makes of psionic enchantment. Most aspiring dragons lock themselves away and perform the metamorphosis in secret. After the spell is successfully cast, the dragon typically changes both its powers and physical appearance. Each stage of the metamorphosis is extremely painful. The exact appearance of the dragon differs with each level attained by the defiler, but the defiler will gradually grow in height and weight, take on reptilian features, and eventually lose all trace of humanity. Eventually weighing up to 50,000 pounds and being 40 feet long.
Yeah, all of the sorcerer kings in Dark Sun are dragons. That's their thing, is they have done the ritual that was taught to them by the original one, and that is the dragon that they all pay a tithe to every year.
So there were multiple sets of novels written for Dark Sun: the Prism Pentad, the Tribe of One, the Chronicles of Athos. The Tribe of One deals around the dragon and how to become one. And I think it was the Prism Pentad where they actually deal with the dragon. It was either that one or the Chronicles of Athos. I don't recall which. It's been too long.
Prism Pentad.
Was it? Yeah, okay. The Chronicles of Athos, I see the 5th book was called The Rise and Fall of a Dragon King, but I don't recall the specifics of it. Once again, been too many years.
I think that's the one that deals with, because you remember you get the free city of Tyr because the King Calic of Tyr is eventually killed while in the midst of trying to empower himself.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, the all of the novels that they wrote for Dark Sun revolve around how to become a dragon.
Right.
Yeah, there's one like full dragon, which is the original Sorcerer King Boris of Ebe, who had all the other Sorcerer Kings are his old apprentices, the ones that are still there. He was the one behind the like cleansing wars. Or no, he was Rajat's champion, but he became the dragon and led the rebellion against Rajat, I think.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. He was a champion of Rajat who was the big the first sorcerer, and then he was the one that led the rebellion of the apprentices against Rajat and became the dragon.
And then he became a piece of shit. So.
Oh, he always
Yeah,
was.
the dragon stats are pretty outrageous for second edition. 61 hit die plus 10, minus 10 AC, can only be affected by plus 2 weapons or above. Like, man.
Oh,
Because in Dark Sun, all of the Sorcerer Kings, to become the Sorcerer King and start, you were a 20. When you became a dragon, you had to be at least a 20th level Sign Assist and 20th level Defiler. So you had to be 40th level. And then as becoming the first one dragon, you became 21. And so like you were
and
yeah,
even
they are
like
ridiculous.
in the lore of it, not even in the novels per se, but just in the actual game, they talk very specifically about the dragon, that you never want him coming near your city, because this thing, it raises entire cities when it shows up.
Yeah.
You know, so 60 hit dice, yeah, that probably tracks.
Yeah, that is definitely god tier for that edition of D&D.
Oh yeah,
easily. But yeah, so that is Dark Sun. Obviously, that's the dragon. That dragons, I guess, if you include like the other Sorcerer Kings. But yeah,
They're in process, you know, not
Yeah,
entirely there.
They're on the way. They're on the way. Yeah, they're gonna be somebody.
But there can be only one.
Yeah, there can be only one. This is interesting. The big boy dragon of tier and the original box set also has seemingly very low stats compared to what I just read out with the 61 hit die or whatever. It has 250 hit points, only 32 hit die.
Probably. But look, how much damage does its breath weapon do? Because if I recall, it was just obscene.
25 d12. That's only a hit die, one die more than a Great Worm Red Dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, 25 d12 will you know, a good roll will nuke any party. But
oh yeah.
I guess actually what here it is. The dragon is a terror in combat. It can attack simultaneously with its massive claws for 2d10 plus 15, its fang-filled mouth for 4d12, its whip-like tail for 5d10. In addition to its melee attacks, it can use one psionic power and cast one magical spell per round. And is treated as 20th level psionicist and 20th level defiler. And the dragon's saving throw numbers are always 2. What does that mean?
So it only fails to save on a 1.
It only fails. He only fails to save on 1. Okay, I got it. And in addition, it also has magic resistance at 80%. Why not? Yeah. So if you manage to get something through, he still has to roll a 1. That's fucking great.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely obscene. So let's talk about Al-Qadim before we wrap this thing up.
Okay. Yeah, I got 2 more things. So Al-Qadim, there's only one dragon. As I'm sure you guys are all pretty familiar with. Lore that this is based on. The only dragon that appears in Al-Qadim is called the Vishap. It is a flightless Zakaran dragon, a crafty and cowardly creature that preys on the weak and flees the strong. They're sly, cunning predators that fight through stealth and deceit. Like all dragons, Vishaps are exceedingly vain and greedy. Despite its great size, a Vishap can run, climb, and jump with surprising agility, although it likes to foster a sedentary image in order to catch its prey. So, you know, this is based on Middle Eastern cultures, obviously, so you don't really have dragons in that sort of lore. in mythology. So this is the only thing. And the image of the dragon is really more just a big fucking lizard. It doesn't have wings or anything. I mean, they classify it as a dragon, and they even did like the 12 age categories like you do a normal dragon, but not really a dragon, in my opinion.
Yep.
And the last thing I want to cover, and this takes us up to about 1993, which I only covered 3 years, because there's, like I said, so much shit dropping at the same time. Like 5 different campaign settings, and they all had a little bit of something. Obviously, Forgotten Realms was the big one, but this one was actually kind of unique. Dragon Mountain. Have you guys ever played Dragon Mountain? 1993,
No.
Colin McComb.
Nope.
You've seen the box set though. It's got the really cool Chanel Luchakwe red dragon up on the mountain. So it features a huge red dragon named Flashfire in its lair. But what's really cool about the module is it introduces the draconic style kobolds that are played as intelligent, disciplined, and terrifyingly effective defenders using tactics, traps, and ambushes in coordination. Like, you're supposed to be 10th to 15th level to deal with this module, and these are not like, high stated kobolds. These are like 6 hit point kobolds still. They just set up a bunch of fucking traps and shit, and can still just plink away at you with their sheer numbers, coordination, and the fact that they know the cave and you don't, and they're small, and all the cave openings are small as well. So you guys have to basically crawl through places in order to avoid their shit. So, a couple of those things I'm sure as 10th to 15th level characters you can bypass, but you're going to run out of resources quick if you're going to be, stone shaping through walls and move earthing and dimension dooring all over the place. Because this is in 5e, everyone can't Misty Step 15 million times every short rest.
Yeah, simple answer. You need an entire party of known halflings.
Yeah, in order to really tackle this, I think dwarves would work too. They're technically medium, but they're fine in small quarters. But I thought that was interesting because I never knew where the whole draconic version of kobolds came from. Because I grew up with dog version of kobolds. I always kind of enjoyed that, but I actually kind of like the fact that they gave them culture, ingenuity, and like the ability to be complete bastards with 6 hit points.
Just showing you that you can kill high-level players with ingenuity.
Yeah, and I kind of want to actually go through and try to convert that module for like a mid to high level like Shadow Dark campaign or something, like people wanting to go just take the treasure, because like the end thing is you do have to fight the dragon, and there is a massive amount of treasure. But I guess spoilers for a 30-something-year-old module, 33-year-old module. But one of the final things you do, you don't fight the actual red dragon in what appears to be the final showdown. It's actually the chieftain of the kobolds who's drink a potion of dragon form.
Hey, clever.
You have to fight him first.
I mean, it'll still kick your ass. Still kick your ass.
Dog kobolds for life, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of liked the Pathfinder take on kobolds with the dragon version, but
I liked them because even back in the day, the dog kobolds, they were just kind of different goblins. They didn't do things.
Yeah, they were
different.
barking goblins.
Yeah.
Well, if you follow the Japanese tabletop, they are very different now, which is great.
I do not follow the Japanese version,
but D&D did not do that. So what we got was just different, not really different, basically just goblins.
I think we talked about this like
we did.
No, yeah, we definitely talked about the ecology of the kobold at some point. If we haven't, we got to revisit it.
But yeah, definitely watch Delicious in Dungeon for the proper dog kobolds nowadays.
Okay.
I have not.
Delicious in Dungeon is one of the best tabletop animes out there.
I've already watched a tabletop anime. I don't need another one.
It's different. It's different.
I'll watch Record of
Ah.
Logos more. I'm good.
Yep.
You know what? Actually, there is not a write-up of the Ecology of the Kobold. However, there is an unpublished Ecology of the Kobold that somebody wrote for Dragon Magazine. Guy's name. I'm gonna have to research this. I'm excited now.
Oh. So next week, not more dragons. Next week, it's all kobolds.
I'll double down on some kobolds. Hell yeah! All right, I need a break from dragons again. I don't think it'll be as many months next time because I want to get through second edition, because I think actually they really do clean up dragon lore in third and then actually kind of finish cleaning up in fourth.
Yeah, third edition was pretty structured.
They retconned a bunch of shit in fifth, but whatever. They also keep it vague enough that they're like, I'm keeping a door open here. The myth is this. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for you to have to cover fourth edition.
I might hand it over to Chris. I don't know.
Sometime after this, I will cover Shadowrun dragons.
Oh, hell yeah. You know I'm here for it.
Hey, I'm going to have to find that Dunkelzahn page and send it to you.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's... All right. I guess that's it. We'll talk about some other stuff we were wanting to talk about tonight next week, but that's how it is.
Yeah. Save Vecna for next week.
Oh, wait. There was that other thing that we needed to talk about. Not psionic.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. I got the Matt Mercer top 10 list. You cut me off last time.
Yeah,
it's only going to take 5 minutes, guys.
Okay,
so,
we got this. Go ahead.
The Matt Mercer top 10
chose
list.
that feed. Yeah, that's crazy.